let's square up gay culture. Gay on gay hate over Gaza war flares across social media and South Florida nonprofit. The ongoing Israeli-Palestine conflict has created a rift between the LGBTQ plus community of South Florida and across the country. This division can be seen on social media platforms like Reddit. One user recently posted on the Gay Jews forums about being permanently banned from LGBT for asking not to use the word genocide responsibly and to show any empathy for the Jewish victims. He asked about the possibility of experiencing the highest degree of anti-Semitism within the LGBTQ community. Other Reddit users reacted to the post. One said, quote, "Too bad we Jews are excluded from this intersectionality, as we are from all anti-racist circles," end quote. Another post said, quote, "The LGBT community has always been open to all unless you're Jewish, but maybe they'll accept you if you're a good Jew who self-flagellates and condemns other Jews," end quote. On the other hand, the Aqua Foundation for Women's executive director faced backlash for showing support for Palestine and asking for a ceasefire in Gaza. Mateo Ventura Bruer posted on his personal Instagram account on November 21st, including hashtag from the river to the sea. On November 28, he posted an apology for the offense caused by the alleged anti-Semitic hashtag. Bruer posted a clarification for his use of the hashtag as an aspirational call for freedom, human rights, and peaceful coexistence, end quote. However, not everyone was pleased with the clarification. For one, drag artist and Aqua scholar Bad Papi canceled the performance at the Aqua affair. I mean, where can I start? This is so sensitive, and obviously, you know, we all have an opinion about it, but I do think that there is a lot to be said that, you know, and to make the separation about that we can be against the state, the government of Israel and their very extreme right views. That is different from anti-Semitism. Yeah. So a lot of that get confused and thrown together. So too. And then, you know, we could be, and in this show we have, you know, cover a lot of the views and positions of Netanyahu and his right-wing extremist government. Yeah. And we can be opposed to that. I don't support, obviously, anti-Semitism, but we can be against the policies of that government and what's happening in Palestine also, and the actions of his government as a response to his irresponsibility before this conflict started, and the negligence and not paying attention to what's happening in Gaza, and then letting this happen with all the vast intelligence that the Israeli army has and all the vast resources they have, and then somehow they missed on this because of all his power grabbing that he got going on in Israel. So we can condemn, you know, the government and being, you know, not anti-Semitic, because I don't want to be anti-Semitic.
Of course, so I don't think nobody at this table wants to be.
So, but we can, so let's not confuse the two.
Yeah.
And I think it's also part of this social media dilemma that we find ourselves in, because now all of a sudden when something happens, an event happens, everyone's ready to take a side.
Yes.
You know, everyone's always ready, whether it's Black Lives Matter or whether it's, you know, if you stand with Israel or, you know, doesn't matter the cases. Everyone, as soon as something happens, everyone's quick to change their profile photo to support whatever that cause is. And
without knowing what that means.
Without knowing what it means. You know, and it's unfortunately with this situation that's going on, you know, there's a lot of people who took a stand who don't really understand what's really happening, that don't really has looked into, you know, the history, you know, that has existed, you know, that, you know, Hamas there's not a representation of Palestine. There's people in Palestine that are suffering, you know, just as well as the fact that, you know, Israel has a right to defend itself, you know, but there's a lot of, you know, the lines are blurred and people aren't understanding the history or knowing what's going on.
And I think that's kind of what happened to Mateo, unfortunately. You know what I mean? He used the hashtag that, you know, in his mind, he was asking for human rights and peaceful existence, right? That's not genocide to Jews, you know? So, it breaks my heart that I don't think he did it willingly. He didn't want to hurt somebody.
Right.
And in the process, unfortunately, he hurt people. And I don't think that, I think knowing Mateo personally, a lot of us do know him. I think that he would go to each person and apologize. That's just the kind of person he is, and he used a hashtag that he shouldn't have used, that, like, you do your research. We live in these times that you can't just take a side to take a side,
If we ever could, meaning like that is like,
Yeah.
I think social media,
Yeah.
no doubt, is a big part of this, but also like this is a situation many, many, many years in the making, and like the circumstances that we all are seeing unfold. It's going to take a really nuanced approach, a really nuanced position. Like that is like, it defies easy social media, 100 whatever characters, right? Like that is like, it requires like a thesis paper to kind of give the nuances of what these things, like that is, it's not black and white.
It's not cut and dry. It's so convoluted. There's so much to it.
And that is to say, you could take, that is people, there are large questions, philosophical and ethical and the like, right? That is, but that is that it's not as simple as a kind of a quick tweet or something, even as some things, right? Like liberation is. And there are things in which we all, like some of these statements that you read, Dino, here, there are points of connection and that's what we need more of. And that's what I want to point out, is that is like, I think it's important we all speak to one another, right? That even if there's points of disagreement and points of, that we are in conversation with one another, so we continue to learn from each other. Like when there's moments of hurt and that there's healing, right? That is like part of growth is healing, and that there's, we need more conversation to move us forward. That is like, there's going to be ignorance that can be learned from, that there's space for growth among all of us, that we all, it's such a difficult situation and so many people are hurting. It's important for us to kind of always stay on the pulse of how this is affecting.
Right. And we also have to understand that, that even the Jewish community, the Israelis in Israel, they are not, it's like Latinos, we're not all the same. We have different opinions. A lot of people support what's going on and a lot of people are against what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't want that. So we have to understand that, obviously we need to be considerate also and be mindful of what we post and how, because sometimes we don't research and then, express something that you didn't mean to.
That you didn't mean to. Yeah. Okay. Again, we're human beings, and it's great that in LGBTQ we try to stay teachable. We try to keep evolving, right? And this is a teaching. This is a possibility to learn for a lot of us. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with grabbing somebody that is Jewish in your community that you know and love, and say, hey, can we have a conversation, you and me? Because I don't know how to navigate around this, and I don't want to do the wrong thing. You might get what you need, you might not. But it starts the conversation that you're talking about. Instead of staying quiet because you don't want to hurt anybody, so I'm not going to say anything. Right.
And no position is a position, right? Like that is, and that's
not right either, right?
I would say for sure that's not right. That is like to stand in community is so important, and what community means is going to mean something very different for a bunch of different people, right? That is like, but I think at the center, as so many people noted here, liberation can look a lot of different ways, and we have a lot of work to do to find what that can mean, to find spaces for people to live as happy as possible, fulfilled lives.
Thank you, Doctor.